What is the best loophole that you've ever found? Little community center arcade where I used to live as a kid had an air hockey table in the back room. Somebody figured out that if you jimmy the coin slot in just the right way, you could get an extra 3-4 games out of one quarter until the thing was fully pressed in and you'd have to put in a new one. None of us had much money, so this was a lifesaver. The employees didn't really care because what money we did have was typically spent at the snack bar. So they made money off us anyway. I kind of miss that place. They always had fresh watermelon for free for kids who had absolutely no money so nobody would feel left out. Local radio station had a contest where you call in when they play same artist back to back to win a prize. Turns out they had a now playing and up next feature on their website. My girlfriend at the time would start calling in before the second song even came on. Won tons of prizes ranging from concert tickets to a laptop. My college campus had a cafe with deli and salad bar. The deli sandwiches were way overpriced. Like $8 for a standard turkey sandwich. But the salad bar was very reasonable. Subsidized to promote healthy eating. So I found that the salad bar had all the same ingredients as the sandwiches. The meat was just shredded. The deli would sell slices of bread for $0. 25 each. So I would just buy the bread, load up and weigh my salad and grab some free mayo and mustard packets. Then build my own sandwiches for under $2. Used that trick for my last 2 years. Back in the 90s Dr. Pepper ran a promotion where you could win stuff from the bottle caps, including a free Dr. Pepper. You just paid for the new soda with the winning bottle cap. I learned that you could look up the bottle and barely read what was written on the inside of the cap. I bought one Dr. Pepper and continued to win maybe 30 or so more Dr. Peppers. As a teen, an unlimited supply of soda was amazing. A very old place of work decided to have a Christmas party and provide everyone with a few vouchers each for free drinks. They'd arranged with the venue that employees would hand over one tag for any drink of any size and would settle up in the days after the event. The problem was that these vouchers were simply tags that you'd put into a filing cabinet sleeve and write on with a colored sticky dot on them. They distributed the tickets half an hour before we closed for the party. Guess what was stocked in the stationery cabinet? Filing tags and sticky dots. They had no idea how the bar bill was nearly $10,000. My brother once yelled last one to jump in the pool is gay, and then jumped into the pool. However, I figured out that if I did not jump in then technically he would be the last one in the pool. And he is still gay to this day. Not very impressive, but at my high school we had to wear a button down and a tie to class every day. One of the kids realized that they never specified what kind of button down it had to be, so he wore a Hawaiian shirt to class with a tie. Technically it met the dress code, so it stuck. Pretty soon most of the school started wearing Hawaiian shirts with ties to class. We looked like a bunch of ridiculous Jimmy Buffett Goes Mormon types, but it was worth it to spite the system. They changed the rule to ban Hawaiian shirts a week later. I still use the loophole of jumping on a shuttle bus out of Lax to a parking garage or hotel. Yes, and then calling an Uber Lyft from there to avoid the airport prices. Brings the ride home down to $10 from $40. My former workplace would tell us every Monday that we had to work overtime Saturday. Then often cancel overtime at the last minute. That way they didn't have to give us the minimum 24 hours notice of mandatory overtime and they could take as long as they wanted to decide if they needed us. They also got to play it off like they were doing us a favor by giving us our weekend back. It was a dick move, but it was certainly effective. They used to have a promotion at Wendy's, probably 6 or 7 years ago, where if you filled a survey out on your receipt you could get free burger. I guess they didn't notice that you could take the survey on the receipt of the free burger and just keep getting free ones. So we would just go after school and chain 5 free burgers after we just bought one. We did that for a few days until they finally caught on and stopped accepting it. My dad figured out a good one back in the 80s. just like they do now. Back then cable companies would give you a free weekend trial of a premium channel, HBO, Cinemax, etc. in an effort to get more people to sign up for those channels and pay more. However, our cable company's method of giving you access to the special channel was to send a signal to your cable box which unlocked the channel. To turn off the channel at the end of the free trial, another signal was sent. My dad figured out that the signal to lock it was only sent for a short period of time. So before the end of the free weekend, he would unplug the cable box and then plug it back up the next day. Since the box never got the signal, we would have a free premium channel for a while. Usually after a month or two it would get shut off, so we'd have to wait for the next free trial weekend. I didn't find this loophole, but my friend did. A few years back, an online store had this promotion where whoever spent the most money over a month would get free round-trip airplane tickets to anywhere in the world. My friend, who's a f***ing genius, found that one thing you could buy on the site was a gift certificate. So he bought a $25 gift certificate and kept spending it on another $25 gift certificate. So he ended up spending $25 on round-trip tickets to Australia. In 3rd grade, our teacher had to leave the room for some kind of emergency and left one of the students in charge, the teacher's pet. Of course, the teacher said that we were not allowed to talk, and if we did, we would have to write 100 times "I will not talk in class when instructed not to," or something like that. Well, my friend and I were bored, so we started writing out the punishment, and when we were finished, proceeded to talk to each other until the teacher returned. The student left in charge wasn't sure what to do. It was hilarious. Are the rich person's take on fines that they aren't deterrents, merely entry fees? During senior year at my high school, we had a baby photo contest. The contest had a bunch of rules about the photo you could submit, but none of them said that the baby had to be you. I submitted a baby picture I found on Google and won best dressed baby. Back in the day, 2 5-piece chicken nuggets at Burger King cost less than a single 8-piece chicken nuggets. Me and those 2 extra nuggets were laughing all the way to the piggy bank. Back in the 1960s, the school district in my hometown was broken up and absorbed into the surrounding districts. Fast forward to 2003. I'm applying to colleges. I discovered that there is a scholarship fund for people living in that old district's area. The district is gone, but the scholarship still exists. I applied and got the scholarship. I don't think there were any other applicants. That you can jiggle the handle of certain gumball machines to get free gumballs. This happened to me once as a kid, and this caused me to physically assault any gumball machine I ever came in contact with for next couple of years. I used to get the train from Liverpool to Manchester every day. The fares were extortionate. You accrued $15 a day. Instead, I'd get a 30-day return on Monday in Liverpool. You accrued $20. Then on the way home I'd get another 30-day return in Manchester. You accrued $20. As long as the return tickets never got stamped, I'd reuse them. So I always had a valid ticket to travel. It helped that I was always on the first train, and the guard could not be bothered to check tickets. And on the way home I was on the rush hour train and they couldn't get up the train to check. It saved me thousands. This was before the barriers at most train stations now though, so probably a lot harder to do. Italian restaurant my family loves had a candy claw machine we played every time we went. But the trick to learn was, if the claw closed all the way it thought that meant you didn't get anything, and would let you play till you did get something. This means we would go for individual items that would fit into the claw perfectly, one sucker, one Laffy Taffy, so it would close all the way, instead of trying to get a big lot all at once. That way it wouldn't register the candy and we could keep going and going. We actually took so long once our parents made us leave before our turn was up and we still left with handfuls of candy. The best part? It only cost a quarter. They no longer have that machine. I purchased a wireless keyboard at least 8 years ago. Maybe 10. It's awesome. Except I broke one of the keys about 2 years later. So I contacted the manufacturer to see about just buying a replacement control key because it's awesome and I thought just the key would be cheap. But they said it's still under warranty and they sent me a replacement. About 2 or 3 years later, similar thing happens and I'm all set to throw down $$ for a replacement. But the replacement keyboard's warranty time started when they sent me that one. So I wound up with a replacements for my replacement. This just kept going on. I'm currently on my 3rd or 4th replacement keyboard. I've lost count. Over the years, the design of the keyboard has improved so much. The current one is not at all identical to the original K800 I purchased. But it's still a fantastic keyboard. If they would ever give me an opportunity to buy a replacement, I would. Sounds like their Loophole is an excellent customer loyalty guarantee. Went to a Catholic school with uniforms. We got Jeans Day passes to wear. They were always different colors, including white. I took one white pass. Took it to a copier, copied enough to fit one page. Printed one full page of passes, then printed mass stacks of pages. I made a lot of money selling them out. Psst. Hey. Kid. You wanna wear some jeans? Took a survey course in college, which basically amounted to a course the school was planning to offer in the future, but giving the professor an opportunity to fine-tune the curriculum before officially offering it as a class. Easy enough course. Got my credit. Went home happy. Next semester the course went live and was offered under a different course number, but the description was identical. Signed up. Never attended a class. Took the final and got my credit again. My friend made a spreadsheet of all the restaurants in town that gave you free stuff for your birthday, and mapped out the shortest route to take you to all of them. Lie about your birthday for different apps for Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, etc. and spread the free tea throughout the year so you don't have to hit up a million places in one day. Using LimeWire to download LimeWire Pro when I was in high school. I can't remember when it happened, but it was years ago. I think it was Nestea, or some other canned tea. But if you bought a case of tea then there was a coupon on the box for a free case. Except it was on every case. So now you have case number 2 and another free case coupon. All the tea could be had. My high school had a stupid rule that banned you from attending prom if you went to a Saturday detention that semester. I got in trouble and was assigned to Sat. D Hall. But my girlfriend really wanted to go to prom. I just kept skipping it and they kept adding more until they rolled it into a day of actual suspension. They had no rule barring you from prom for an out of school suspension, so I got a day off and took my girl to prom. For a while McDonald's had a promo where, when you walked in, you could scan a QR code and possibly get free food. However, different locations and different cutouts had different codes. I took pics of as many unique codes I could find, put them all on a handy PDF, and scanned them all using an Android device and an iOS device before lunch. I got free extra value meals regularly. In fact, I still had a couple free ones left over when they stopped the promotion. You may be responsible for killing that promotion. Old job had a loophole about time. It worked as such. If you were scheduled for 8 AM shift you had 7 minutes to arrive and be on time. If you arrived past the 7 minutes you were considered 15 minutes late. Loophole. It worked the same for clocking out. If you stayed and helped for an extra 7 minutes and clocked out, you got an extra 15 minutes of pay. During my tenure there, I would always ask if people needed extra help and make sure I stayed past the 7 minutes. This went on for a full year. Got probably close to an extra 24 hours of pay. Our local Tesco accidentally had 2 offers for Terry's chocolate orange at once. So if you bought 4, or a multiple of 4, they gave you 50p. Tried not to abuse it since if they notice they change it. But bought 4 chocolate oranges with other stuff through the self-checkout every day for almost 2 weeks before they corrected it. I planned to save them for Christmas presents, but Christmas was 4 months away. And you know how delicious Terry's chocolate oranges are. Edit. To all non-Brits out there, since apparently they're not sold elsewhere. They're f***ing delicious. If you ever come to England, do yourself a favor and buy one. Or find a foreign confectionery shop and hope they sell them there. When Presto Card first came out in Toronto, the swipe card that gets you onto public transit, the card I got was faulty from the moment I bought it. I'd loaded it with cash, but 9 times out of 10 it wouldn't scan. The transit operators would see me curse and swear at it and let me through the gates anyway. Then I'd pick up a transfer which passed as my proof of payment. I must have done that a good 30 times over the course of 2 months. Saved myself $100 or so on transit. Didn't want to push my luck too much, so eventually replaced the card with a working one. I was working maintenance at McDonald's when they did a Best Buy Bucks promotion. Large sodas and large fries had a scratch off that was worth at least $1 at Best Buy. I would go through the trash daily, pulling out all the discarded scratch offs. I got a free computer that year for Christmas. I also had the poor cashier at Best Buy in tears. She had to manually scan each scratch off and verify the dollar amount. When I was a student, the laundromat at the end of my street would launch the selected machine if you press the key twice. It worked for a month or 2. And then it got fixed. I worked IT to pay my way through college, and I had to troubleshoot the card reader for one of those stupid things. I ended up talking to the manufacturer's IT guy and he gave me the code for testing. I used that until I was done there. Not me. But I read about a guy that bought coins from the Canadian Mint with his credit card. Deposited them in his bank. They have value. And ended up doing this multiple times. Which turned to millions of air miles. Saw the video on this the other day with the US Mint and dollar coins. Mint wanted to get them into circulation, so they offered free shipping and took credit cards. People would order tens of thousands of dollars worth, take them to the bank and deposit them, and then pay off their credit card bill with it. All the while the banks are getting shipments of these coins to put into circulation, so they end up with tons of them that they then have to send back to the mint. There was a drink machine in college that was $75 for a juice. If you put $1 in, it gave you 5 quarters and change. I got a juice every day for months before they finally fixed it. Free internet access during the early days of the internet. AOL, if you signed up for that free month. Call to cancel, they would give you a free month or 2. Cancel at the end of that period, then sign back up with a different checking or savings account. Same process. By that time the original account would fall off their list of known accounts, so you could go back to that one. I got 2 years of free internet that way. And got my mom permabanned from AOL. Edit. This became more popular than I thought. My inbox is getting run up in. But why all the AOL hate? They weren't that bad as far as early ISPs went. I mainly used them from 95 to 98ish, some odd 99. Maybe used a month here a month there through the early aughts to fill in a need every now again if I was between ISPs. I used to work at Papa John's to pay my way through college. There was a contest we had where if you got someone to upsize their pizza from like a medium to a large for an extra $2, you got points towards movie tickets. A large was simply $2 extra normally anyways. Anyone that ordered a large, I simply put in a medium and upsized it. I won every f***ing week. My coworkers didn't notice this obvious loophole and it didn't cost the customer extra, so I didn't have a problem with this morally grey area. Free movie tickets every week was a huge in college. When I was a freshman in high school, my geology teacher told us we had to make a presentation about igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic types of rock. He explicitly said he didn't care how we did our presentation, but it needed a visual. I asked him to specify how much he doesn't care about the content of the presentation and what is allowed to be up for interpretation. He clarified that you could do a song and dance for your presentation if it was relevant to igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. I did an interpretive dance. Relatively no effort, a sprinkle of shame, and a reluctant A. favorite online clothing store used to do BOGO. But if you returned the item you paid for, you could keep the free item. It was crazy. They must have caught on though, because they haven't run that promotion for a while.